Someone can love you, but still not commit to you. And this is because commitment is about capacity, not chemistry. However, the more you try to sit there and earn somebody's commitment and change yourself to become what you think they need you to be so that you can earn their love, the more you train somebody that they don't have to choose you, and the more you silently and painfully abandon yourself. So in today's video, in this next 7 minutes, I'm going to take you through what to do when you love somebody who won't commit. We're going to start by talking about the root reasons that this often happens in relationship dynamics. But more importantly, I'm going to take you through what to do so that you can honor yourself in this process and not completely lose yourself in this mix. Now, if you're new here, hello and welcome. My name is Gibson. I'm the founder of the Personal Development School and Gibson Integrated Attachment Theory, the proven method that helps you rewire your attachment style and build the best relationships of your life in as little as 90 days. And I love to share content out here and just really do things that are going to help support people in healing their relationships, starting with the relationship to self, because it was a big part of my life and was so transformative for me that I love to share it with you too. Let's dive into this. I think the most important thing that we want to start by doing is talking about why this happens so that you have context and don't take it as personally. But then most importantly, we're going to talk about what to do. So a lot of reasons why people won't commit in a relationship is because they have one of two major problems. Either they're avoidantly attached. Okay, so this means that they grew up in households or dynamics where they had fears around commitment. They were wounded in a way where they didn't really come to believe that they could have fulfilling relationships. So they may have fears around being trapped or helpless or powerless, or the fear of being betrayed in a relationship dynamic, or even the fear of being defective or shameful if they are vulnerable and they open themselves up, or the fear of being weak. Okay, so a lot of these are big core fears of both dismissive avoidance and fearful avoidance who may struggle to really commit in relationships for that reason. But also, avoidant attachment styles, they don't communicate their needs. So what we'll often see here is that individuals who learned to attach by being hyper independent, they don't rely on other people. They don't co-regulate. They don't share with other people and lean on people. In some cases, you may see dismissive avoidance or fearful avoidance relying on people just a little bit. But this is usually at a really high level and not about the real stuff. So they've learned over time, because of the way that they were raised and their childhood or their experiences, they've essentially learned that, if I want to get my needs met, the best way I'm going to do this is to take up as little space as possible in relationships. And then people will want to be around me because I'm not a burden. I don't take up too much space in general. And so they'll really keep a lot of their needs to themselves. They'll expect themselves to be the ones to meet a lot of their needs. And they don't really know how to open up and be vulnerable, especially about the things they truly feel vulnerable about. And so what this looks like is that if you're on the receiving end of this, you're dating somebody and you're like, hey, what's going on here? You have these fears around commitment. You don't know how to really get your needs met through me. And a lot of times you then think, if you're on the receiving end of this, you then think that if you just do more or try harder or show up in a different way or become more of what this person needs from you, that then everything would change. And that's simply not how it works, because you cannot change somebody else's subconscious conditioning. In other words, it's not possible for you to change how you show up and have that change somebody else. And here's why. It's because your conscious mind is only responsible for 3 to 5% of all of your beliefs, your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, and your subconscious and unconscious mind collectively are 95 to 97%. And your conscious mind is your logical, analytical thinking self. So this more avoidant leaning person in a relationship, they can say, oh, okay, I'm just going to, try to let my guard down. I'm going to try to let people in. I'm going to try to lean on people. They can tell themselves that, but they're not habitually showing up that way. Your subconscious mind is your programmed self, your habituated self, how you're naturally behaving. And until you learn to rewire that part of you, there's not really going to be a moving of the needle. People can say that they're going to try to change or even want to change, sincerely want to change. But unless you know how to do that work at the subconscious level, your nervous system's always responding to your subconscious mind. It literally will not respond. What does that mean for you? What does that mean if you're on the receiving end of this? Well, here's 3 things that you can do. Number 1, set a deadline. Far too many people in this dynamic, they stay in the gray area forever. They end up in situations where they chase somebody, they're hoping that they can love somebody into commitment or change their mind, but it doesn't work like that. So you need to set a deadline so that you can give this person a chance. Like, I'm not going to sit here because I've learned this. I've worked with thousands of people. I can't tell you this person's not going to commit. You should leave and you're ready to leave tomorrow. It doesn't work like that. And I get that because usually your heart is engaged in the situation and invested, and it's not going to be something where you just can up and leave, in 24 hours. So what I always say to people is set a deadline. Maybe this deadline is 3 weeks that you'll work on the relationship. Maybe it's 3 months. That deadline is going to be really individual and specific to you and your situation. So for example, if you've been dating somebody for 6 years, you're not going to spend 3 weeks. You're probably going to spend 6 months, right? You're going to spend a little longer of a period of time. If you've been dating somebody for 25 years, you might spend a year or 2 years trying to make the relationship work. If you've got, children and a mortgage and all these things together, it's not so easy. But if you've been dating somebody for 3 months, you might, invest for another couple of weeks. Your goal here is to set a deadline, and that deadline represents the period of time in which you are going to keep investing in this relationship and trying to move the needle before you're going to recognize that, wait, this isn't working for me. I'm trying to show up, I'm trying to make things work, and it's not. So I have no choice but to walk away. Otherwise, I betray myself and abandon myself so deeply in the process that that's going to leave me with really, really deep wounds. So we need to, number one, set a deadline. And I want you to think about what this is. Like, how long should you stay in this relationship before it becomes unfair and unhealthy to you in this process? If you want to do a deep dive into this, you get to keep the attachment styles and intimacy course for life. It's all about attachment styles, each of their patterns around sex, intimacy, closeness, bonding, the things that cause them to want to pull away and that they fear and that you should watch out for, and the things that they like and enjoy and appreciate. So I'll put that down below as well. It's a free gift just for a limited time. Number two, within that deadline period of time, you are going to invest. And you're going to invest in doing a few things. And this may sound counterintuitive, but number one, you are going to start communicating your needs. This has to be done through what we call positive framing. You can't say what's not happening. You can't say, oh, you're not caring about me enough. You're not spending time with me. We have to do this through positive framing. This looks like you saying, hey, I want to spend more quality time where we are present with each other. That looks like planning a date night every Friday. What time works for you? So this looks like you really clearly articulating what you're needing and painting a picture for what that looks like so it can't get misinterpreted. And now all of a sudden you're positioning yourself to take up space, because trust me, if you're with somebody who's not invested, who's not committing to you properly, this could be like not committing to a relationship, but it could be in a marriage where this person's not committing to the relationship. They're not doing the work. They're not showing up. And we have to do the work in relationships. Good relationships do not just fall into your lap. They are worked on. Okay. It's like saying somebody wakes up and they just suddenly by accident get their dream job and dream career where they're making a ton of money and they have freedom and they're doing things they love. That happens through you working on showing up and bettering yourself to be somebody who can go create that career for yourself, go create that path for yourself. And the same thing is going to apply to relationships. Good relationships, they take the work. They take a little bit of work being done. And that is a perfectly good thing, because what that means is that you are forced to introspect as a person, be accountable as a person, communicate and strengthen your communication skills. It's going to cause you to have to grow in healthy ways and push yourself a little bit outside of your comfort zone, to empathize with other people, to admit when you're wrong. This is not you particularly. This is both people in any relationship as a whole. Relationships force you to grow. That's a good thing, okay? It may be uncomfortable at times, it may be difficult, but that's working on your behalf. That's making you a better version of yourself. So doing the work is a positive thing, okay? And so what I'm saying here is that you want to practice pouring everything you can into doing the work, making sure you're communicating well, using those tips I just talked about, making sure that you are taking up space and actually sharing what it is that you need and what it is that you're looking for in a healthy, regulated way. And also telling somebody what your boundaries are, telling somebody, hey, I can't stay in a relationship dynamic forever if I'm not seeing progress, if I'm not seeing the needle move. All of these things are going to force you to get uncomfortable. All of these things are going to force you to honor yourself and your truth and your boundaries and your needs. That is a good thing. And something can be really good for you and uncomfortable at the same time. I mean, think about people who train for a marathon or go to the gym every day. Like, that is uncomfortable sometimes, but it's also really powerful. It's good. It's growing you. So this is something, and I want you to evaluate this as step number 3. I want you to evaluate from 1 to 10 how much you feel comfortable taking up space. And by taking up space, I mean like sharing with everybody. If somebody hurts you, telling them that they hurt you. If somebody makes you feel uncomfortable, letting them know and setting a boundary around it so it doesn't happen again. Letting somebody know what you need in a relationship and communicating that. I want you to start scoring yourself from 1 to 10 at how good of a job you do there, because then this is going to bring me to this last part, which is that you, in this relationship dynamic, you then have to be willing to walk away if the needle doesn't move, because you have one of two options. You either walk away if you don't see progress. And if you know that you set a deadline and you poured everything in and you tried your heart out and you practice taking up space and telling somebody what you need and communicating properly and giving somebody a chance and they didn't show up for you, then you can walk away guilt and regret free. You don't want to stay in that wrong relationship forever. So that serves you, that honors you in the process. And you know that you have this automatic closure in knowing that you tried everything you could. Or your best case scenario is that person actually grows and evolves with you, starts learning what you need, starts recognizing that you have needs too, and they start treating you better. And now you grow together instead of growing apart. Okay. Staying in the middle. So that's one path. Okay. Your other path is to stay doing what you're doing, not share your needs, keep people pleasing. And I'm telling you, you will lose yourself more and more every day, every month, every week, because every time you don't speak up, every time you don't share your truth, you suppress yourself, you suffer in silence, and you literally self-silence into oblivion. You're going to lose who you are in that process. And part of taking yourself back is learning to show up, learning to communicate, learning to state your needs and honor your boundaries. That is a really healthy thing to do. Thank you so much for watching and for being here. I'll see you next time.